For 8 months, my Mondays began with the same ritual. At 9 a.m. sharp, between sips of coffee and the scramble to get my daughter, Ava, ready for school, I would open my banking app. My thumb would hover, then tap. Transfer, $700. To Mom and Dad. The confirmation screen would blink back at me, a digital pulse of a connection that was otherwise dead. It wasn't a gift. It was a ghost, the phantom limb of a family that no longer existed. I was paying rent on a love I hadn't felt in years, funding the illusion that we were still connected. I told myself it was for peace. But true peace doesn't cost $700 a week, it doesn't require you to bleed yourself dry to fill the pockets of those who look through you. My parents lived just 30 minutes away, but in Ava's world, they were mythical creatures from a far-off land. "Can they come to my recital, Mommy?" she'd ask, her eyes wide with a hope that shattered me. "Maybe next time, sweetheart," I'd say, the lie sticking in my throat. I was building her a world on a foundation of my own delusion, that parents eventually soften, that pride fades, that love finds its way back. Then came Ava's 6th birthday. I filled our small backyard with streamers, a secondhand bouncy castle, and the sweet, sticky smell of lemonade and sunscreen. Ava twirled in her pink Elsa dress, her gaze constantly flickering to the gate. "Do you think they'll come this time?" The sun climbed, the candles melted, and the laughter of her friends faded into the quiet of the afternoon. She sat on the porch steps, a half-eaten cupcake in her hand, her sparkly shoes scuffing the wood. "Maybe they forgot," she whispered, her small voice heavy with a disappointment no child should ever know. That night, after tucking her in, I saw the text from my mother, sent that morning, "Tell Ava happy birthday from us." No call. No card. Just that hollow, after-the-fact sentence. Something cold and final settled in my chest. I called my father. "What is it, Penelope?" His voice was a closed door. "Why didn't you come today?" The question sounded pathetic, even to me. A sigh, heavy with annoyance. "We didn't feel like it." "Dad," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "Ava was waiting for you. She made you a card." The pause that followed was a chasm. Then, his voice, cold and steady as a surgeon's blade, delivered the cut that would sever me from my past forever. "Your child means nothing to us." The world didn't shatter. It froze. The hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the clock, the blood pounding in my ears, it all just stopped. I hung up the phone, walked to Ava's room, and watched her sleep, her chest rising and falling, each breath a quiet rebellion against his cruelty. I knelt and kissed her forehead. "You are everything," I whispered. "Even if they are blind." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I went back to the kitchen, opened my banking app, and with a hand that had stopped trembling, I began to cut the strings. One by one, I deleted the automated payments, the rent, the utilities, the groceries, the final, damning $700 weekly transfer. With each tap of cancel recurring payment, a weight I had carried for a lifetime began to lift. 40 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother, "Can you order us dinner?" "Nothing fancy, just Chinese." "We don't have food." I stared at the screen. In 40 minutes, they had erased my daughter from existence, and now they wanted sweet and sour pork. I didn't reply. I placed the phone face down on the counter. My silence was my answer. My inaction was my first act of true strength. The unraveling began quietly. The landlord called. The rent didn't come through. "It's not my responsibility," I said, my voice steady and foreign to my own ears. My brother, Ryan, called. "Pen. Mom says you've lost your mind." "Define lost," I replied. He was quiet for a beat. "Good. I'm done, too." He confessed he'd also been sending them money, a secret tax we'd both been paying on the same guilt. They had played us against each other in a game we never knew we were playing. Then, they went public. In a desperate, grainy live stream, my mother clutched a tissue, the picture of wounded piety. "She's made up lies," she sniffled. And then my father, with a malice I still cannot fathom, held up a photo of Ava in her birthday dress and said to the world, "This child does not exist to us." The world, for once, did not look away. The video spread. Their lies curdled in the public eye. Their own church disowned them. Family members I hadn't heard from in years sent messages of support. At a family reunion they crashed for sympathy. My cousin Lauren played my father's vile words from her phone for everyone to hear. The silence that followed was more powerful than any shout. They were asked to leave. I did nothing but watch. I offered no defense, no explanation. The truth, once unleashed, needed no curator. It was efficient and brutal. I took Ava to the park. The air smelled of rain and fresh chalk. She laughed, a sound so pure it finally, truly, drowned out the echo of my father's words. An envelope arrived from my Aunt Virginia. Inside, a note: "They chose pride over love. You chose your child. That's what family is supposed to look like." That night, as I tucked Ava into bed, she asked, "Mommy, can Nana and Grandpa come next year?" "No, baby," I said, no longer forcing a smile. "They won't be coming anymore." She nodded, thoughtful. "That's okay. We can invite Uncle Ryan instead." I stood in the doorway, watching her sleep in the soft glow of her nightlight. The silence in our home was no longer empty. It was full of peace, of safety, of a love that asked for nothing in return. They had tried to erase my daughter. Instead, they erased themselves from our story. My quest wasn't for revenge. It was for freedom. And I found it not in a fiery confrontation, but in the quiet, powerful act of finally closing a door that should never have been left open. If you've ever had to walk away from family to protect your own, you know that the hardest quests are not for treasure, but for peace. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning on your own terms. Share your journey of strength in the comments below.